Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Just lay in it. Put it on the front. Hey girl, and welcome back to my channel. This is episode 2 of Fierce Chats, girl. I just want to say I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the feedback that I've gotten for this segment. And like I put on my Insta story not too long ago, this segment is actually doing better than any of my other segments outside of my vlogs, which I appreciate so much because I was really hesitant. Boo. I'm like, girl, you don't want to hear from me? What I got to say? What I got to tell y'all? So the fact that you're even interested in, kind of my opinions about things and what I have to say about stuff, I appreciate. So if you aren't already subscribed, please subscribe. If you're new here, my name is Sasha, and leave a comment for me, boo. Leave a comment. Let me know if there's something you want to talk about. If there's something you want me to kind of cover a little bit, let me know. I'm here for it. I'm here for all the vibes. Let's hop into it. So I really was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends the other day in regards to just relationships. Relationships across the board. Let me be very clear. Relationships are not for the weak. I have been on a journey specifically with myself to find out more about me so that I can be better in other places. Mostly so I can be better in other places, but be better in relationships, because I was kind of getting the same feedback. I was getting the same feedback from people in regard to my approach for how I wanted to communicate and things like that. And what do I even mean? What am I even saying? Just I would get from people Sash, okay, so let's just say this. Let's just say somebody said something to me, and I have brought this up before. Let's say somebody said something to me, and then I respond back, and I felt like the energy that they were giving me, was a bit of a snappy. You snapping, honey. You knocking on my door, so it looks like Sasha answers. Hello. So I answer, and when I respond, the response that I get back from people is, Sasha, that was OD. You did too much. And I would be like, how, Sway? I swear I heard you knock. And if you hadn't knocked, I wouldn't even be here. It's actually your fault that we're here. So anything that happens in the midst of all that has nothing to do with me. So I'll talk to the lady about it, girl. I had to talk to the lady about it. I had to talk to her. So here's what the lady said. The lady said that if you're having a conversation with somebody and your goal is to snap back, then snap back. That's the goal. But if that's not your goal, then you don't even go down that rabbit hole. If your goal is to come to a common ground, even if you don't agree with the person who's talking to you, who brought the issue to you, or whatever the case may be, then you don't need a snap. You need to find an option that aligns with whatever your goal is. And so I was having a conversation with my man, girl. Honey, I was talking to this man for a while. Hours, okay? Hours. And we were just sifting through just issues, just stuff that we've just maybe pushed under the rug, stuff that we have not talked about, stuff that we've been okay, whatever. You know what I mean? And so before, I think that our perspective on having to talk to each other for so long about something was not the best. I used to really think, and I'm going to just speak for myself, obviously, but I used to think okay, if it takes us 4 hours to figure out how to align on whatever this is, or not even align, to understand where the other's perspective is coming from, then we're not doing something right. Because I'm looking at y'all on the Instagram, I'm looking at y'all on the TikTok, and y'all with y'all man seem real happy, and he don't seem like he never get on your nerves. Girl. He don't look like he get on your nerves with me, to me. So I'm sitting over here, in my relationship looking okay, why is it taking us so long to be able to sit here and talk? It's really because people need to normalize what really happens in relationships. And it doesn't mean they got to share. It just means we kind of need to normalize that across the board relationships are not for the weak, and it's not no joke. But it also means maybe being a little bit more vulnerable with each other. People that you trust. Okay? I'm not telling you to go turn your camera on and tell us all your business about your relationship. If you want to, I'm going to tune in. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that in order to make anything work, like in order to make anything thrive, you really have to sit here and take the time to try and understand. Because really, when I think about this new journey that I'm about to embark on, is bringing two different perspectives, two people from two different walks of life who have two different opinions about things. And like for me and my man, we're both very like dominant personalities, both very, very dominant personalities. So it's like, or what would I say? What's another word for that? Both very, anyways, dominant. I'm gonna say dominant. Okay, I can't figure out the word, but I'm gonna say dominant. So we both have very dominant personalities. So when in the beginning of our relationship, we would really be going back and forth on trying to convince the other person that you're wrong. Like, what you just said makes no sense. And let me open my book and explain to you exactly why it doesn't make any sense. And then I realized, like, what's my goal? What is my goal of interacting with this man? Like, my goal is to, understand him. Like I said, to empathize with him, to listen. And girl, it's hard. Okay. It's hard. I'm a real Virgo. I have a whole case file, a whole evidence log as to why you're wrong. Okay. Period. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying that I know the right way to do things, and how you're doing it is not right. Okay. So maybe how I do stuff isn't right either. Okay. But what I have learned across the board for relationships is that you cannot allow the problem to get in between you and whoever you're in a relationship with. Because if the problem is in the middle, then that puts you guys on either side. And so if you guys are on either side, that means that y'all are fighting each other versus trying to address what's in the middle. And look, this is a concept I'm still trying to understand, Pooh, that I'm still trying to, just practice what I'm preaching, because it's not always the easiest to see, I feel. I feel like sometimes, you're so passionate about whatever it is that you're talking about, whatever it is that you're hurt about, whatever it is that frustrated you. And so you're not really realizing that you're more focused on those things versus trying to figure out how, you and your partner can be on the same side of that hurt, that disappointment, that frustration, that pain, and so on and so forth. Like, I would just say for us, it's definitely been, the journey to the wedding. And it has stress. Okay, y'all really should have said something. You dead ass should have said something, because weddings are so stressful. There are so many different details. And in addition to that, they're expensive. So it's just like, when you're under that much pressure and when you're under that much stress, it really came out in our relationship. And so I think that, we eventually figured out that, hey, look, this wedding is in between us. Because at the end of the day, we've already confirmed I want to be with you, you want to be with me. Okay? And we're having a celebration to celebrate that decision. All right? So let's relax. Let's bring it down. I think I was reading, what was I reading? It was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And he said that if you feel like your problems may feel a little bit more overwhelming because of the fact that it feels like you haven't chose them, like they chose you, like they're chasing you down. But if there's some issues that you can recognize that you chose, then it's kind of like, okay, so if I chose to get married, I chose to have a wedding, I chose to go on this trip, I chose to get my hair done, whatever it is, it's like, and that expense, I chose to spend that expense there, and now I need an expenses for something else. Like, there's no reason to get frustrated. And that probably, and I realized ended up being so detrimental to me, was my perfectionism. And I think my perfectionism has come from like trauma, essentially, like a response to certain things that occurred or whatever, through like childhood and stuff like that, where I latched to trying to do everything perfectly so that life would pass me. And the thing is that I have enough clarity to know that, I can't pass up lifing. I cannot pass up lifing, but somehow I still convince myself through my perfectionism that if I did things like this way and I did it just right, that I should be able to avoid any risks, really, any risk of anything kind of falling out of place. And I feel like, really with this new life event that I'm about to embark on, girl, I just realized how much control I really do not have, because I always been a person that has had a plan for a plan for a plan for a plan. And in this space that I'm in currently, my plan for a plan for a plan for a plan don't even matter. They don't. It doesn't make an impact to nothing. If anything, it ends up just stressing me out, because when I am trying to be so perfect with things, I have an expectation. And when I set that expectation, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't go that way. So I'm always disappointed. And so I feel like last year I was really spending a lot of time just being disappointed that stuff didn't go the way I planned it. And I'm like, you have the different memes where it's like, if you fail to plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Okay, what's the other part of it? What's the other part of the quote? The other part of it must be, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And even when you do plan, you may still fail. They forgot that. Somebody needs to send that to me so I can update it, because I think somebody needs to update it. I think that's why we are all like, excuse me, I had a plan. Okay, and it still ended up not going the way I wanted, and I consider that, a failure. And I think that's also where my perfectionism ends up, hurting me too, is that I am trying to, I guess, avoid failure. And I don't know, I guess I felt that failure meant that you, I guess, didn't plan efficiently enough, or you put yourself into something that you shouldn't have been in. And so why are you failing at something that, you have researched 10 out of 10, that you have, asked your peers about, got counsel, on, and it still didn't work? Why should I be failing? And I don't know. Like I said, I'm clear enough in the head to know that I will fail. I just really didn't realize what the definition of that, really means. I really, saw it pop up the most in my relationship. Girl. Pop up the most in my relationship. Like, I would get feedback. Let's say my man said, I like this dinner, but you burnt the rice. I burnt the rice? What do you mean I burnt the rice? I checked it over and over again. It's not burnt. Your taste buds are sensitive. It's roasted, and stuff like that would really send me. I just feel like that also, like, the dark side to perfectionism is, or the dark side to my perfectionism is that it prevents me or restricts me from just experiencing things. Like, I'm always trying to plan for every possible outcome, and instead of just like kind of like being there. Like, I have 2 examples where I just kind of had to sit with myself. One of them is when I was going to meet up with my girlfriends, and like we plan, let's just say we plan to go to dinner at 8, right? If anybody knows me, you know that I might not always be the most punctual. Who knows? It's building season, girl. We might be doing that in 2023. Who knows? But anyway, sometimes I'm not always punctual, right? But this particular time, I had one of my girlfriends who was coming like out of town. So I was like, you know what? I want to make sure we can have our full, like, let's just say we were going to go to dinner, like I said, at 8 or something like that. And of course, you're doing dinner like 2 hours or whatever. So I'm like, I don't want to be late. They're going to be on time. I don't want to be late. Well, long story short, I'm sitting here at the house, like I get dressed, like I'm frantic. I'm running to the location that we were going to go and get dinner. And long story short, like really both my girlfriends was like, hey, I'm on my way, be there in like 5 minutes. Or, one of them was like, I'll be there in like 15 minutes, girl. Can't wait to see you, right? I immediately sense the calmness behind them just saying, I'm gonna pull up, I'll be there, but I might be 5 minutes late. And the thing is that there's no issue with that at all. Zero issue with that. And I got myself all frantic, doing all these different things, trying to be on time, which, part of that, the issue is Sash. Okay, let's be clear. The issue is Sash. But also on the other part, I'm just trying to do it so perfectly according to how I plan for myself to do it that it sometimes prevents me from even being present. And the other example I have is like we had some friends over, right, girl? And I had just a few drops of rosé, just a few drops of bubbly, because I do love me a good bubbly. Okay. So I had a few drops of rosé, whatever, right? And when I wake up the next day, I'm like, you know when you had a few sips, when you was lit the night before, whatever, you wake up the next day like, bro, what did I do? What did I do for real? And so I woke up the next day and I was like, what did I say? Did I say something to somebody? And how did I say it? Was I rude to anyone? Like, what happened? And the thing is that I like woke up with so much anxiety trying to analyze every single thing that I did because of the fact that, it was under the influence. The thing is that nobody cared. Literally. Nobody cared but me. Everybody was under the same type of influence as me. And I just kind of started to think, especially with me embarking on this new journey in my life into my wife era, my luxury life wife era, that I'm like, girl, you can't be sitting out here looking, sloppy. That's not cute. That's not wifely. Okay. And I woke up the next day being so anxious, thinking of the thought of this doesn't match this era that I'm going into. I think really nothing occurred. Nothing occurred. Sasha being her normal, loud, dramatic self. And that is really it. That was really it. But I am so like self-critical of myself. I expect other people around me to do the same things. And I just started to think about, like, what did they think of me? What do they think? Do they think that this matches my wife era? Are they going to go tell my husband? You don't need to be with her because she rich it. Like just unnecessary thoughts that I allowed to come into my mind while they really had no rhyme or reason or no value. And those type of things mess with your worth, like really mess with your worth. And I, again, was in a space somewhere between September to December. I was in a space in 2020, just 2022, 2022. Okay. I was just in a space to where I just wasn't allowing myself to just be a part of a human experience and not be so damn self-critical. That stuff keeps me up at night. And I don't know if you feel me, but like that stuff keeps me up at night for no reason at all versus just being like, maybe it was not perfect. And to say it out loud sounds not ridiculous, but it just sounds like, man, that's crazy. Like you cannot be perfect at every single thing, but that is really the approach that I've had for myself. It's building season for us, boo. We are building, okay? I was reading in my devotional that God rarely puts something in your life until you get rid of something. Okay, wait. Why am I always messing up the quotes? Okay, it said, God rarely puts something in your life that's new until you get rid of something that's broken. Duh. Like, God is not going to bless you with something new until you get rid of that broken thing. So that means, you know what that means, boo. We got to say it. We got to say it. It means let him go, sis. I understand y'all got history, and I understand he keeps saying he finna do this and this and that. But what is he showing you? Just a quick question. Hey, I don't know nothing. I'm not there. You're right. But like, what is he showing you? Is it matching with what he's telling you? It hasn't been matching for a long time. It really hasn't. You're holding on to those fond memories. With that girlfriend of yours, with that friend of yours. You're holding on to those fond memories y'all used to have. But guess what? She's taking from your energy. You feel exhausted whenever you're interacting with her. And it's because she's not pouring into you. Like, I don't know how this is going to come off, but it's like no longer necessary to have people in your life who have nothing to offer. And I don't mean that in a selfish or arrogant way. I'm just saying, like, I just don't think it's necessary. It's not, because relationships are about give and take. So if you're in a space with somebody where all they're doing is take, then it's like, what's the point? It really isn't. Like, let's be clear. Everybody is in a space and in a relationship or whatever the case because it provides something for them and vice versa. And that's fine. Let's be real about it. Let's normalize saying why we really here. What are you really here for? is that. I'm like no longer signing myself up for being in spaces where people aren't able to pour back into me. And like I'm a friendly person, girl. I'm very social. So I have a lot of people that I interact with, a lot of people that I associate with, but my circle is very tight. At least that's how I feel. My circle is very tight. The things that I share, and when I do share it, it's in a small group. And also, like I said before, like surrounding yourself with people who like they rooting for you, like they dead serious want to see you win. There's people next to you, and you know who they are. The people that you've been, them your folks. They've been around for a minute. You just keeping them around. But every time you tell them something like, hey, you starting a new business, and they don't want to repost. They don't want to like. They don't want to comment. They don't want to give you a couple of dwellers. They don't want to, whatever it is, whatever the ask is, however it is that, you requested their support. They're not able to do it for whatever reason. Yeah, they need to go. Like ASAP. ASAP. And you can tell them I said it. Okay, girl, real quick. Because we don't have some topics today. Real quick, let's just get into the mess. Can we get into the mess just really super quickly? So, y'all lying now?
Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
Giselle, Ashley friend Sesame Street. That's what y'all was saying on the good Twitter. Iconic. But, y'all just lying now. Y'all lying on Chris for real? Like, the fact that the producers are editing and showing you where Chris is and where these women are when they're accusing him of flirting, being sexual, whatever it is, and he is minding his business, especially Sesame Street, honey. She really just said something to get her placement on the show. And bravo. I really don't want to see from you. I don't really want to speak to you. I don't really know. There are some friends that come on the show and you're like, keep her. Marlo was one of them. And I don't think we can really we really can obtain, a Marlo type of friend on the Real Housewives franchise anymore. I don't think so. Every time they bring a friend, it's real dry. It's real lackluster. But Sesame Street, she tried it. Talking about he asked, what is your husband's name? Girl, ain't nobody asked that. You did. I am shooketh. They are lying. Ooh, wee. For what? What? For where? So I'm just very interested. Y'all let me know. I'm up to date for the most part on my Housewives. But y'all let me know if the reunion or whatever came out already. I don't think it came out already for Potomac, but I can't wait to see what the girls say. Andy, roll the tape. Roll the tape. Let them see how they was talking and what Chris was really doing. Really, aside from my comments previously about Miss Robin's really was the only one to have his back initially. I think after all the different backlash came out from the ladies, she was like, are you sure? I guess she felt like, enough people had said something. So now maybe she was wrong about her perspective on Chris. But y'all lying. I'm just sick of. And also, news broke that Jen Shah is going to be serving 6.5 years. Whoa! Real prison time. Prison. I'm too cute for prison. Too cute for jail. If you have to do any of those things, electric chair me, whatever, the little no, because I'm not doing it. I don't need to, and it's not for me, and it wouldn't ever be for me. But Jen Shah is on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and she was indicted by the feds. Real time. For what, like fraud? It was some fraud, okay? Because all the rich people, they always go into prison for fraud. Money all fake. All of it is fake. And she got 6.5 years. I wonder if that's real 6.5 years. You know what I mean? Like real prison years, okay? Because based off of what I see on the show, she's not any more equipped than I am. I mean, who really is equipped for prison? But like, she's not any more equipped than I am. So 6.5? Girl, please. I couldn't imagine giving myself to those people and being like, yes, take me for 6.5 years. But I guess if you know you committed a crime, what is it that you can really say about it, okay? All money isn't good money. All right, it isn't. So she gonna be up in there with Todd Chrisley and his wife. Ooh, doing 7 years in prison. Ooh, somebody let me know if this is real prison time, okay? If it's just, Jen Shaw, she had 2 days where she was in jail, they gonna knock out 4 years. Y'all know how they do. And it'd be like, well, technically she got time served because she been on house arrest at home for the last 6 months. Let me know. Because the blog say homegirl went to an Italian restaurant to celebrate her 6.5-year sentence. Amazing! Another clap. What a mess. Okay, girl. Ooh, what a mess. Anyways, girl, that is all we have for Fierce Chats today. Thank you for tuning in for another episode 2. Okay, I'm glad that y'all said to do episodes. Okay, because I actually like it. I know I was against it before, but maybe I was hot that day. I don't know. Not sure. But anyways, please subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. Like and comment on this video. Let me know what you want to hear, boo. Let me know what you want to talk about. Get into the mess. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
If you got it, it ain't a question. Oh, it ain't no one for guessing. No more than emotionally invested. Showing you all my imperfections. Oh,